hand over now to David Mulcrease to get the classic car show underway.
So what? So it's my great pleasure to have Mr. David Mulcrease here this morning to tell us a little bit about these beautiful cars as they come round. I must say it's the first time David's had a free day here at the show for, well, he won't want to tell me how many years now, but it's 50 years. They were the longest reigning Mulcrease Motors, the longest exhibitor that we had in the show. So we're disappointed to miss them here this year, but we've got David here, and he's going to do a sterling job as always for us. And I'm going to hand him over to you now and let him give you some information.
Thank you, Janet. Well, I'm not sure this is an easy move from having a car stand here, but anyway, here goes. These are the classic cars from the Manx Classic Car Club. The first car coming in, everybody would recognise, of course, being a Mini. It's a 30-year-old, this was a 1989 Mini that was built to celebrate the 30th anniversary of the original Mini, owned by Max Stewart. Next car coming in is a Rover 3500, 1974, owned by Edwin Faulkner. Now he's had this car since new. It's probably one of the nicest Rover 3500s of its type anywhere in the world, I would say. Following that, we've got a couple of MGs, both very nice cars. The first one is an MGA twin cam of 1960. They didn't make many of these, but they were great cars in their day, and they went extremely well. Behind that is another MG, an MGA coupe, not a twin cam, just a standard BMC engine in that car, but again, very, very nice car. Now behind that, something completely different. It's an Excalibur Facer. This is American, as you might expect. It was popular in its day amongst pop stars and all sorts of people, really. A V8 American, interesting looking car. Following that, we have the only Morgan we have here today. This is a 4.4 model. They made cars like that from the 60s. That is a bit newer, but I've been told not to tell people how new it really is. Following that, we have, many would think it's a Jaguar, but actually it's the Daimler V8 250. It looks like a Jaguar, but it has a Daimler engine, V8. That is a really nice car. It's called a Daimler V8 250 and was built in 1968. Following that, we've got the next to our MGs here today. This is an MG Midget 1500. Now the later midgets like that had a Triumph 1.5 engine, not an MG one, but nevertheless it's still an MG. And following that, we've got Mercedes 300 SE belonging to John Bateson. Now this car he's had for many years. He's rallied that extensively throughout Europe. Nice comfortable car to go rallying in. Now we go from one end of the scale to the other. We've got a Ford Anglia, a very nice original, I think it's an original Manx car from new. Yes, the owner's nodded it is. Back in the day, those were very popular cars. The district nurses ran them in the Isle of Man, the police forces used them, and of course they were fairly cheap to buy, so a lot of people had those. Behind the Anglia is the first of our very nice Triumph Stags, Man 346, maroon. I'm not quite sure of the year, but it's built in the 70s, and they were very popular in their day. We move to Germany now, and we've got a Volkswagen a Volkswagen minibus. If you used to go back in the 50s and 60s on your holidays to ski resorts, they were the vehicles that ran you around everywhere. Rear engine, rear wheel drive, good traction in the snow. Now following that, we come back to Britain with a Rolls-Royce Wraith. Now this is a 1939 Rolls-Royce Wraith. It has a current owner, I think, since about 2020, but it's an original 1939 car, beautiful, wins lots of awards, that car, it's the competitions it goes to. Now following the Rolls-Royce, we've got a Daimler V8, 2.5 litre V8, very similar to the one that was on display and driving around earlier on. This is earlier, it's called a 2.5 litre V8, not a 250 V8. Same car, more or less, same engine, built on what looks like a Jaguar body. Now following that, we've got a 1996 Mazda, so we've gone to Japan now, Mazda MX-5. This is a limited edition car with a hard top, very nice car to drive. They competed really with the MGF in the day. Many would say they were better, others would say the MG was better, but still a pretty car. Following that, we've got Richard Bolton's Ford Anglia rally car. He's been persuaded to try and take that rallying or hill climbing or something. I think he might do, but it's a hot little car, and I think rather different from the white Ford Anglia at the front of the queue. Following Richard's Anglia, we've got a couple of Rovers. The first one is a 3.5 litre beautiful car. It's a 1970 P5B Rover 3.5 litre. Following it is a Rover 3500 SE, much newer, 1981, so 10 or 11 years newer. That was the first of the Rover SD1 type cars. Still another red car. This is a really nice Porsche 928, 1989. V8, rather unusual. Most Porsches are considered really are the 911, but this is a 928, more of a touring car than a sporty car like the 911 is. Following the Porsche, we've got a Ford Cortina. Now, back in the day, this car's a 1971. Back in the 70s, of course, they were in the UK the most popular car for reps. They didn't have a nice luxury one like this, GXL. They had the sort of basic version, and they all really aspired to having the GXL, but not many could do. Following the Cortina, we've got another Mercedes. This is a 280 SL, white one, convertible. It's a lovely day today, so he should really have his roof off. I think if he had his roof off, he'd be shouting that actually the car's for sale. He did tell me to tell you it was for sale. So that's given you a brief description of all the cars out here today. Now just a word or two about the Manx Classic Car Club. This club was formed on the Isle of Man over 50 years ago. It has now got just over 400 members, and we guess the 400 members between them have probably got 800 or 900 cars. So there's a lot of classic cars on the island. Many would say that the Isle of Man's a perfect place to own and drive a classic car. You'll see all these cars being used, many of them sort of daily runabout cars, but other times obviously weekends and things, weekend use. But the Isle of Man's a great place for that sort of thing. Tomorrow, anybody visiting the show will see that many more of our cars will be here, plus a visiting club of cars, 10 or 12 from a visiting club going to join us tomorrow. So this ring will be full of cars tomorrow, so we're looking forward to seeing that. So as I've said, we've got cars, mostly sort of 60s, 70s and 80s here today. We have members with cars going way back to the 1920s. We welcome anybody with a classic car into the club. The car needs to be about 25 years old, which isn't very old really. When the club was formed, as I say, over 50 years ago, we had about 20 members, and all of those people had cars built in the 1920s and 30s. I think all those cars are still on the island, and most of them are still running well, and hopefully we'll see some of them here tomorrow.
Because it hasn't been raining or nothing's muddy, that they're still so nice and clean and
Absolutely.
sparkling.
There's not a lot more I can say there.
So thank you very much, David, and we'll hear more from him later on. Sorry, I'm just going to have a little experiment with this a minute to try and stop that squealing for you folks. Testing, testing.
you've got yourself there. They are being judged. They started at 10:30 in the main room.
It's your final chance to see the classic cars now. They're just getting out of the ring. Both under the two Snell boys and young Finn in the bottom there on the bit of muscle to the team. Looks like Finn's a great addition to the team this year.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've just had a lady inform me, let me know, on plot 72, which is the village church, there will be a puppet show at 11 o'clock. And they will be doing puppet shows probably round about hourly thereafter throughout the day. You can find pebbles around the show field with the sheep on them. So pebbles with the sheep. This is for the children, hence children, adults, contain yourselves. For the children to find and bring to their heads. There's also a name the sheep competition, and that gives you a chance to win a soft toy sheep. And there's also face painting going on there throughout the day. So pop and have a look at the village church stand, and that's on plot 72, near the bottom field side of the show field.
Overlooking of the field and the paddock and you can hear the Spike Milton numbers that is currently going on. It started at 10 and it's happening. It's also on in there. We're at 12 and 3, but at 11:30 and 13, 16, 17, they will be in the main arena. Now, having seen that there last year, it's not one to be missed. So that is all Spike Milton's lumberjack show in the area that is coming to
Now we say goodbye to the classic car parade for this morning. It's back on this afternoon, thankfully at 20 past 2. 20 past 2 this afternoon, we're going to see the classic car parade again here in the main room. Well done to Blake, Jed,